Prospero from ASIS 2015. I'm going to talk about true enterprise management. So first point is security about video? So if you ask a question like that, the obvious answer is yes. We spent years discussing megapixel resolution, WDR, number of pixels per foot, a lot of different themes that were about video. But if the question becomes, is security just about video? Of course, my answer is going to change, and it's going to be, no, it's way more than that. So what happens? Hi. What happens if your system is down? You're not going to get any video there. What happens if your security manufacturer has come out with a new software release that is giving you the functionalities you need? That happens pretty often. Typical companies like ourselves do 2, 3, sometimes in very good years, 4 software releases a year. And all of them have security updates, cybersecurity patches, bug fixing, new functionalities. So you need to be able to install those features in your MVR, in your recorder deployment. So the problem is security is about video, but if you have to spend all your time managing the system rather than using it, then it's not about video anymore. And don't be mistaken. It doesn't need to be in the hundreds range to become complex to manage. A few dozen MVR, if they require one-by-one maintenance, one-by-one upgrades, they become very complex, very time-consuming to support. So it's important that your enterprise management platform can accommodate multiple recording platforms. That's a given. So there are some locations that require MVRs, hybrid MVRs, because you have old analog cameras to use, for example. There are some other locations, like greenfield deployments, that would benefit from a software recording solution, from AKA a VMS plus IP cameras. So you need to be able to have an enterprise management platform that works with both. You need to be able to manage users, not just in terms of functionalities they can use, but also territories. So it must be simple to set up your user, tell the system whether that user is an investigator or an operator that only does live monitoring, and also you need to tell the system what that user can see. And then it's important that there is plenty of technologies out there, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel every time. So why do we have to build our own user system if there is LDAP out there that is already used by everybody? Why do we need to provide proprietary redundancy if there is VMware high availability, for example? We can use VMware. That's their job to provide high availability, not ours. So it's important that the enterprise management solution supports and works with those solutions. This is just an example of why it's important to be able to scale and to be flexible in a security installation. In the picture here, you see centralized management. So you have your server in the middle, and you have different locations. Some of those can be greenfield, like for example, VMS plus IP cameras. This is new, brand new. I have the budget, so I can install a recording solution and my brand new megapixel IP cameras. And then I have a different location, which is it's pretty old. I already have a security system in place. I'm going to replace the MVRs there because I want to use new features, new MVRs, but I want to keep the analog cameras. So I'm going to keep some analog cameras with the MVR. The MVR must be hybrid, so I can add some megapixel camera in strategic locations. And now I covered my location. So that's in terms of deployment and infrastructure and the MVRs I want to use, but I can also have different users within the system. So I have my system admin at the center that does all the administration, all the management. I might have a control room there that I want to use that centralizes all the surveillance. But I also have regional offices that can run investigations. Or maybe I have operators at the store, operators at the bank, and I want them to be able to see live video only. So an enterprise system must be able to scale and adapt to all these different needs. So when do I in the real world, when do I deploy an enterprise solution? I would say when you have a big system, and the system can be big in two ways. It can be very distributed, so maybe small locations, but many of them. Typical case, it's a bank with multiple branches, or retailers with multiple stores. Or it can be large in terms of camera density, like an airport, university campus. So those are big. It's not just one recording platform typically. It's many different distributed MVRs or VMSs at the airport with cameras pointing at them. So that's when an enterprise system is good. It's very important when you have when your organization is very structured. And what I mean by that is that some customers have only a few guys responsible for security. Can be a team or just a few guys, and it's easy to train those guys. It's easy to train that team. But when you have multiple different users using the system, then it's very important that the enterprise system can be tailored to what their users are going to do. Okay, so it's a live monitoring operator doesn't need very complex tools, right? Actually, the smaller the footprint that an operator has to look after, and the smaller the tasks he needs to perform, typically the less experienced the guy is with software tools. So it's important the tools are really, really simple for them. And then, as I was mentioning, when I have an IT team in place, I have people looking after my network, looking after my servers, then at that point, it becomes very easy for that customer to use an enterprise system because we're talking the same language they're already talking.